Top of the morning to you. I hope you're all fine and dandy and staying ahead of the game. Remember, it is a game, and each one of us must play our part. So I'm going to take a second look at Pegasus, and I'll give a little bit more story of what we see here in the heavens, and what I have discovered over the years. So Cygnus the Swan is marked here, and this is the Northern Cross. Cygnus the Swan is the journey into the house of Cephas, the cross, the third cross of Christ, of the crucifixion. The second cross being Orion's belt, and the crux in the south being the bottom cross. But this is the top cross, and you can see that Pegasus and Equuleus and Dauphinus are almost touching the swan, Cygnus the Swan. I'm not going to go into Cygnus the Swan. There's quite a lot of posts on my page regarding Cygnus the Swan. You see next to Cygnus the Swan you've got Cephas, Cassiopeia and Lacerta. Cephas is the king, and this is Adam and Eve. And you see here that she's looking in a mirror. There are pictures and posts upon my page and even videos showing the Maiden Stone, and I'll put an image in here showing the Maiden Stone. The Maiden Stone with Cassiopeia, Eve, looking back in the mirror onto the dragon, the Draco, which is at war with the little bear at the central pole, and the big bear. And I have many videos and posts regarding Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, the bear. I have also some posts regarding Camelopardus and Perseus and Andromeda. But what we want to look at today is this story in the heavens. Perseus, in the Greek story, rescues Andromeda, who is sacrificed to the beast. And this represents Persephone and the fall of Eve. Andromeda represents Eve, the daughter of Cassiopeia and Cephas, and this is the fall of man in the age of Pisces. And what we're looking at here is the return, the white horse of Pegasus returning to the north celestial pole. And next to Pegasus we have Equuleus and Equuleus. But today I'm going to actually look at Kemnay. I looked at this in a previous video, and we're going to take a closer look at Kemnay again. We're going to look at the alignments of the stars with the buildings below, and review a few things. So here is Kemnay in Aberdeenshire, and I grew up here, and this is where the journey began for me. When I was 10 I moved to this, or 9 I moved to this area, and by the time I was 10 I became interested in standing stones, because the area alone has probably about 30-40 stones just in the immediate vicinity. So let's get right in and have a look at the prominent buildings and what these prominent buildings are actually marking in the heavens. It is as above so below, very much so. So what we have here is Kemnay Golf Course, and there's a lot going on here. There's quite a few standing stones around this area too. So wherever you see a little eye, it's normally this little dot here. There's normally a standing stone, and there are tons of standing stones in this immediate area. But we want to look at the golf course and the stars around. So we can see here, this is Dalmadelli, I think I remember it's called, and you can see all the houses and everything are laid out according to the stars. The other side here, there clearly was some sort of bridge or a path. There's something here, but there is something marked over there in the ground. But let's get back to the buildings, because they've been standing there for hundreds of years. And we can see here the golf course, and of course these are all farmhouses here that have stood here for years, but now it's all been renovated, I believe. And you can see the actual main road of Kemnay takes the neck as you enter in. It's the neck as you come in, and as we zoom in a little closer, in Kemnay, you'll see that there is a fountain right here. This star here is more likely, it should be down here. You can't get the perfect overlay because the images didn't exist. Our ancestors marked all this by the heavens. But it's pretty precise. You have Equuleus, the little horse, or the foal here, and the two prominent stars are marking Kemnay Park. And of course, Kemnay Park, 91 Kemnay Park, is where I grew up. And so the little horse who accompanies Pegasus, Equuleus, and the star is right over my house. So where I grew up. Amazing. And the school I went to, Kemnay Academy, is the eye of the little Equuleus, just further up, and the ear is the academy itself. We used to go down here and fish and play in the water. There's a bay right there, a sandy bay that you could go down where that eye is, and right there as well there was a sandy bay right there. That's what it was right there. And of course they built a car park and all that in there now, but it's quite strange how the car park almost takes the shape of the eye, and underneath the eye. And we have the two stars here mapping this bend in the horse's head. And yeah, it's pretty amazing how our ancestors and how the local authorities just now today, they're obviously aware of this. They're obviously aware because they build precisely. And you see these schools are right, that school would be right there, that star would be right there. We have the Burnet Arms Hotel, just sitting right here. The Burnet Arms Hotel restaurant, and of course the star here for Boatcroft is marking the Burnet Arms Hotel. If we look further along, you'll see this is new, but the green in Kemnay, they have a green now, and this was Andrew's fireplaces, used to be here. St Andrew, and the fire, and the dragon. I'm not surprised. And you can see there that there is a big house behind there, behind St Andrew's fireplaces. A friend of mine used to live in that big house, surrounded by modern house in the state now, but there is a big house just sitting in there, and that is marked by the star and the eye of Pegasus. And you can actually see the shape of the design there. They've kept that. So where we are now is Kemnay in Aberdeenshire, and what we're looking at here is Equuleus Road. Now, I said in the previous video, Equuleus is very close to the word Equuleus, or Equuleus. It's also very close to Aquarius, the word Aquarius. So yes, let's go to Old Kemnay now. So there's some of the things there. There's the green, you can see the star where the green is, and the ears of the horse are on Paradise Road, at the top of Paradise Road, and there's a fantastic number of old houses, old buildings just sitting here, which friends of mine have lived in, because I lived here for years and years, and I have a lot of friends who still live there. And so that's the ears of Pegasus, and that's quite interesting because when I was younger, you can see the ears are making Alexander Crescent. When I was younger, it was so strange. We all used to gather in houses and smoke weed and do other things, and one of the houses was up here, and we'd talk about things, and we'd experiment with things, and we'd talk about God, and listen to Bob Marley and all sorts of stuff when we were young. And yeah, it happened right on that house, an old house there, where we used to visit. And you can see that Bogbeth Park, it used to be called the Pleasure Park when I was there. Bogbeth Park and Kemnay House. This is us moving into the older part of Kemnay. Of course, the older part of Kemnay is Pegasus, and the newer part is Equuleus. So the stars are aligned perfectly here to Kemnay House. We'll just draw that back in again. Kemnay House there, and we have a standing stone down here in these woods, which I found many years ago. It's more like a little milestone, but it's there. And of course there is a star right down there as well. If we look over here at Bogbeth, this is a new housing development. Not new, it's probably 20-30 year old now, probably, but it was new. It's new to me because I don't live here anymore, and it wasn't there when I moved away many years ago. But you can see Bogbeth Park right in the centre is a star. The entrance to Bogbeth Park, where the bowling club is a star. The Bogbeth Road itself is the shape of the wings of Pegasus. And the Bogbeth stone, which is quite strange because a friend of mine, Jackson Alan Reynolds, was visiting this stone just a few days ago, and here we have the star immediately over that stone. Maybe I should zoom out a little bit so it makes it a little bit more clearer, but yeah. And the entrance to Bogbeth Bray is where the other star is marked. Now, if we zoom it out just a little, I will take you to, we've looked at Kemnay House. You can see the outlying farms are also marking. These are quite the Wellbush Cottage and the Wellbush Farm. And of course these are also part of the Pegasus asterism. And any outlying large farms are usually part of a star system too. That is what I've noticed and can be easily overlaid. This is a very interesting wood, Lishangi wood. Lishangi wood it's called. It hides Kemnay House. It shelters the big house in there, and you can see that the star itself sits in. There's a skate park at Bogbeth Park, and there is a very large house next to that skate park up in the hill, and there's also some wall garden in there that belonged to Kemnay House. Now if I put this in, you'll see that that large house and those circular mounds here, which I remember as a child playing on, mark that star. That star right there in Pegasus. Like I said, you can't get them absolutely perfect because the images are made by man, and all this is made by the hand of the Almighty. But it's fairly accurate. And this is the Great White Horse of Pegasus, and the place where I grew up, Kemnay, Aberdeenshire. Yes, even the pubs and everything, the way everything sits. It's not a pub anymore, but the Gushet Nuke is now Cafe 58, a very old building. They get everybody into the public bars. This is the bar of a bar. You see it's station, a starter, an electric bar. And here we have Cafe 58, and the lodge is just, the Masonic Lodge is just here. We have a monument here which obviously represents this star, and this bend here which all these buildings are on, are the neck, or yeah, the underneath the neck of the horse. And it's amazing because the river itself takes the shape of the two horses, and as I grew up here I used to think it was marvellous. It was just the bends in the river and the water and the scenery, everything was just beautiful under Benihee mountain range. It was just beautiful. So if we look over the other side of the river, looking out of Kemnay, it's fascinating because I know quite a few stones are here, and these these stars are marking not just the shape of the fields and how the strange fields are laid out, but they're actually marking some of the stones. There is a very large stone there in that area, there it's there, and there are a number of mounds and large stones buried really in this area, but the actual contours of the field are that shape because it is the feet and the legs of Pegasus. And when we go down here to this area of Dalmadilly, this is where it began on this post, there is a lot happening there in that, but they've hid it with the golf course, and you can see the golf course has been shaped still. It's still shaped like the leg of Pegasus, but of course hidden. And Castle Fraser, Craigern and so on, they're all further down. I'll have a look at Castle Fraser in the next video. I can already see what it is. But this was really about the Pegasus, the white horse of the Christ, and his companion, Equuleus. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. More to come. Much, much, much more.